What are the 15 truths to remember if you're going through hard times? Now, we all have hard times. There's an old song called hard times come again no more. But you know what? They do. They come and they go though. So what are the things that we can do to help ourselves during that time that is really hard? Firstly, pain is part of life and love, and it helps you grow. It's true. You see, many of us, really so many of us, are really afraid of ourselves, of our own truth. And mostly we're afraid of our feelings that we have within ourselves. We talk to ourselves about how the concepts of life and love are, but we hide away from things every day. We look at our truest feelings and then we just don't want to absorb them really. We just kind of want to stay away from them. You see, the truth is life and love actually hurt sometimes, and that feelings can really disturb us. From an early age, we're often taught that it's bad, harmful, evil to have pain. But we can deal with pain in real life. And if, for example, true love, if you're afraid to feel what you really want to feel, well, then you are actually just letting fear overtake you. And that's never a good thing. Because we need to feel pain and to feel alive and loved. Pain is there to help us wake up. To try and hide our pain is just ignoring what we're feeling. So we have to acknowledge this. We have to realize it. We have to carry it willingly, and it's a good sense. It's something powerful. And anything that's powerful, this is what separates ourselves as humans from the animal. Pain is meant just to enliven us. We need to realize that it's there. We need to absorb it for a time and then try to understand how we can endure it. You see, another thing is mindset. It's half the battle, really and truly. When hard times hit, we need to have that mindset to tackle it in one way. We need to actually be able to understand what's happening in another way. We need to understand ourselves that when it does happen, we're kind of prepared within our minds to reflect upon it in certain ways and to adapt to it. Now, it's okay to have down days and tough times. It's life. This is what's happening. It's not all strawberries in a field of roses. Expecting life to be wonderful always is like trying to want to swim in an ocean which, well, waves are all beautifully blue and there's not going to be any sharks there. I mean, come on. If you go that far into the ocean, there's going to be good and bad there. Yes, of course, there's going to be beautiful things underneath the surface. If you go down with your goggles and look down there and swim, you're going to see beautiful things for sure. But you're also going to be in the realm, into the world of the sea creatures, and you need to be careful. This is the same as life. This is the same as when hard times actually hit. We need to be able to say, hey, hold on a second, I am prepared. So it's the mindset we need to look out for. We need to recognize that the rising and crashing waves are part of this whole ocean. So even though you might have the sun glimmering off the top of the ocean at one stage, we can also, in the next moment, have this kind of biblical, almost crashing waves, which can actually literally throw us from being up in life to down, and hard times then exist. So we need to understand that our goal shouldn't be to have this perfect life, but to live in perfect life, in amazement of what's around the corner, because we just don't know. I mean, even as I'm shooting this video, I don't know what's going to happen. There's birds around me. There could be you know what on top of my head in any moment, but then you'll know. But I'm saying hard times are always there. To get up every morning and look at ourselves around or in the mirror and then look around, it takes us usually by no shock, because most days are routine. We take them for granted and nothing is extraordinary. But when hard times hit, they're extraordinary. So we have to have that extraordinary mindset and realize that every day really and truly is a gift, and pain will come. Another thing is your biggest fears don't really exist. That's because you have a huge imagination. You have huge imagination, and that is a gift to you. The more you fear, it's quite possible that your intelligence level is quite high indeed, because therefore that intelligence level is located in a similar pattern within your brain structure that your imagination is. And if your imagination is strong enough to create a big fear, that means it's strong enough to actually create something new in this world. Now, think of all the great inventors. Think of all those people that can and have essentially done everything in life, that have millions to say and talk about. These people perhaps have invented, these people have created companies maybe. These people have created workforces and managed workforces that are unbelievable. They've just put their mindset into something positive. They've used that imagination, that creativity in the best possible way. By creating ourselves the biggest fears, we are creating almost a story for ourselves to be part of, to be the main character of. But the reality is it doesn't exist. It's an imaginary thing. So we're creating fears that don't even exist. Although fear can really be a feeling that we're creating, it's coming from our thoughts. And this allows defeats to happen for more people than, well, any other force in the world. It defeats so many people. And it's so powerful. It's so deep, as your mind will allow it to be deep, because it allows you to be challenged and to go beyond challenging. If you think about it from the opposite version of events, that's why people can run a very far distance, and they can run further and faster the next time, because they push themselves. It's their mind that pushes themselves. That's how they achieve so much in that regard. But it's also the same way how we can make fears bigger than we ever felt or knew were going to be there in the first place. You are growing through experience. This is what we need to realize. It's just that the easy and the hard aren't exactly the way you had anticipated. So again, the imagination is playing tricks on us, as the old saying would have gone. But this doesn't always occur when you expect them to. This isn't a bad thing. It makes life kind of interesting, in fact. With a positive attitude, we'll always be pleasantly surprised. When you stop expecting things to be in a certain way, you can then begin to just go, wow, I'm pretty happy with that, and just take them as they are. Because ultimately, you will realize that, life gives one of its fantastic presents by just being present and not just looking at what ifs. Another thing is, you can't change situations if you don't take responsibility for them. So we have to have this kind of sense of responsibility. It was said once by Sigmund Freud, quote unquote, most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people they're frightened of responsibility. Now think about that for a second. If we think about it from the point of view of taking responsibility, if you said to somebody who is jeering another person, who's saying, oh, you know what, why are they doing this? They're crazy, they're no good, nobody likes them, who do they think they are, and so on. Think of a busybody. Think of a person who's actually talking about, slandering somebody almost, slagging them, making them feel and belittle them, making them feel ill of themselves. But if that person achieves, then, who's going to actually look foolish? The person that has used that slander in the first place. Because the reality is, the person who has really worked for things has taken responsibility, and they have chanced things maybe. They have failed perhaps, but they have attained their goals in the next realm, in the next fraction of time of where they actually sought out for in the first place. So in the first part of time, the person who's slandering and talking bad of person and being negative is jealous. It's simple. When the attainment and achievement comes, that's when they get egg all over their faces, because they haven't taken responsibility. The present is all you really have, so deal with it. It is your presence. You are present in your presence right now. Take a breath. This is it. Your life is this. Just accept it. It is what it is. Can it change? Absolutely, for sure. If you're going through hard times, for sure, it will pass. This too shall pass. But at the moment, right now, it's your presence that you have to deal with. And so you have to realize it. Also though, there is always something to be thankful for. There might be one person in your life right now, even though you're going through hard times, that is giving you goodness. So appreciate them. Give them positive energy. You will receive positive energy back from them. If you're alone and you're watching this, remember there are other people out there that are going through the same things, the exact same things. It might be rare what you're going through. It might be hard what you're going through. But there has been, in the fullness of time, in the history of time, someone else. So take care with that acknowledgement and be grateful that you're the other person. Great things take time. Not everything is wonderful all the time. We've mentioned that a few times. Hard times are there for a reason, to make us exercised, so that we will appreciate good times when they come. So give it time. You will get to greater times. Other people, they cannot validate you. When we're struggling to achieve something really good in life, or sometimes when we look at others to just validate our progress, the truth is, well, they can't, because it's not their world. This is your world to live up to your own expectations. Nor should the other people that you want even to validate your things, why should they feel that others are here to live up to yours? I mean, take responsibility. It's the same thing. Going back to that, we need to realize that. And I touched upon it before, is you are not alone. I guarantee you, look out on the internet. There is somebody there for you that is going through that. There are some support groups out there. If there isn't, you can start that support group. Start it off. Someone will experience something very, very similar or exactly the same as what you're going through right now, and take solace in the fact that you can lead the way with this bereavement, with this hard time, whatever it is. The last few are about God, and I spoke about not being alone. Believe in God and learn that there is goodness out there, because if you are alone, if you're truly going through a very hard time, realize that there possibly is a God out there. Many millions and billions of people in the world ever have believed this, even though they might come from a different religious background. They believe in the Almighty God, and that God will never leave us. God never promised it would be easy, though. It's not written. And if you look at the sayings, for example, of Deuteronomy 31:6 in the Bible, he said, we will not go through it alone. Like a loving dad, he holds our hand, that is God, or if things get too scary, he will carry us. So there is related passages in the Bible alone that will tell us this. God has, overcome the world. He has been the greatest. In John 16:33, it said, tribulation means hard times. See, hard times exist according to the Bible. God let us know we would experience hard times, but he reminded us that we would not be alone. So again, he's there for us according to this religious persuasion. God comforts us. Rushing to get things done, it's not going to happen. We're going to cause stress. So we realize that stress though can be comforted. Again, the Corinthians 3:4 said, God opens up his storehouse and dispenses comfort any hour of the day it's needed. Now, there you go. There is comfort out there. God has a purpose for pain. So there's a reason why the pain is there. Maybe we don't know it right now, but remember this much, that even if you're not going through good times, you're going through the hardest of times, there is somebody out there for sure. Connect with a neighbor even. Connect with a stranger. The reality is, if they believe in God, and most people, a lot of people do, if not, they're curious, well then you too can share with them your problem. And sharing, as they say, is caring. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. I hope you go through better times soon. But please subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.